Greetings, Brother Ausar here, Shanti, and all that shit. Now, today, what's really on my mind is yet again very heart-churningly serious, but the topic is, am I not my brother's killer? You heard me right. Not keeper, but killer. Not killer in the sense of murder, which I will be talking about, but the killer of my dreams, my future, my aspirations, my mindset, my free will, my ability to think for myself, which free will is as well. But all these things that I just named are being killed by our very own, the ones that looks just like us. And what's very, paradoxical of it all is that we blame people that look different from us for the reason that we think and act the way we do, when we in fact is really us. Now, today I've probably saw, I don't know, maybe 10 different news broadcasts off of YouTube that was uploaded from different news channels throughout the nation, because that's how I become fair and unbiased. I have to see what's going on everywhere. It may not exist in my reality, but I can still see it. So I want to get people out of that realm into the one that we're in. And it's like all around the world, it's the same song. Rest in peace to Shock G. And I'm tired of seeing it. And who is telling our young men that it's okay to just shoot someone because they live on the opposite side of town, or they with this different set of gang? Or number one, who said that this stuff was still relevant in today's society? I thought by the time I hit 30, at least, because I'm 32, but at least by the time I hit 30, I thought people would have stopped sagging their pants, stopped with all this gang shit, because with all the technology the FBI and the police department has now, I thought it would have been very, very stupid, for lack of better terms, to still commit robberies and fraud and all this other stuff. But no, this stuff is still happening. I thought for the life of me, by the time I turned 30, more black men would be enrolled in college or some type of trade school to at least, get the sense of hard, honest work back. But it seems as though I was just fooling myself, and I had my hopes way too high, albeit there is a lot of black young men out here making a bigger impact on the world than I had the opportunity to do when I was younger or their age. But every other day, well, now it's coming every day, there's a shooting or there's a body found. But it's just so comical to me that we sit here and we want to blame a whole nother race of people, a whole nother demographic of people for our own actions. I grew up in a very poor, rural, small town, maybe at most 3,500 people, and we were like 95% black. All the people who were not black, who stayed on the opposite side of town in very, very nice houses. That's how segregated we were. And we're still segregated to this day. They don't even shop at the grocery store that's in town. They rather go to either the neighboring towns or the neighboring cities. They do their shopping and, recreational things there. They won't even come near us because of the reputation that we had. Granted, I wasn't a big participant in those type of things, but I can understand why, because I saw it. And for the life of me, I just don't understand how people just cannot take responsibility for the choices that they make. Just because you grew up in a country ass, low income town in the woods of South Carolina does not mean you have to be ratchet, ghetto, whatever words, terminologies they want to use these days. I used that as motivation to get out of there because I knew for a fact since day one I wasn't like these people. I wasn't friends with none of them. Still ain't to this day. I very rarely, when I do go home, nobody can recognize me, and that's a good thing because I could barely recognize them. Not for good reasons either, but just because we were in our circumstances shouldn't have determined who we grew up to be. Because I found what I knew from the get go. I mean, that's why I used to love watching National Geographic and the Discovery Channel, because just from my TV, I get to see that the world is way bigger than what I'm surrounded by. But not everybody got that memo. Still to this day, moving to Columbia, which is the capital of South Carolina, that's like a big major success move. That was just a stepping stone to me. But I get it, one small move for one could be a major move for the next person. I get that. But I was a big thinker growing up, and I had a very creative imagination. Like, if I could just leave this place, what possibilities can I obtain and accomplish? I was taught at a very young age to always have a plan and make a plan. Even if things don't go completely your way, you still have a backup plan and still have the mindset and open-mindedness enough to learn from your own mistakes and make sure that you don't keep repeating the same thing twice and looking for different results. Somehow, some way, that memo didn't get dispersed to everybody, to a lot of other people in my community, because when I do take the time out of my day to research, any progression or any improvements or anything that has happened, which, it's safe to say a little bit of great things have happened. But when you look at the bad, the bad outweighs the good. It's kind of hard to go back and reinvest in a community when you're shooting business owners that's there and you're driving out the ones that are there because they don't want nothing to happen to them too. Why set up a business for it to get robbed or for you to be murdered in? For the life of me, that doesn't make sense. And my town is so small that if you shoot somebody, you damn near shooting somebody else's cousin, or probably your cousin. That's how small it is. But I say that to say I had to deal with that on a small scale. Now, look at what happens when you multiply that 3,500, population of black people into 3 million. Giving them the same scenario, you just maximize the possibility of those crimes exponentially. And from what I'm learning is that all these major cities is always shootings. That's probably why I never had a desire to move and live inside a metropolitan size city, because a lot of crazy things happen there. It's almost like it's a black hole, let alone a portal for egregious acts of violence to take place. Now, I say this to say that when it comes down to the black demographic, we are leading the charge in violence. And we've killed each other more than any other Klansman that we claim to believe that is the problem here and the threat to our society. But to realistically speak, there's maybe a few thousand Klansmen, but there's millions of us. And every time you look up, we're the ones shooting each other. So make that make sense. Now, I'm all for the black empowerment. I'm all for black uplift. But uplift does not mean pulling you down and antagonizing you and threatening you, and to make you fear for your life, to boost my ego so I can have some type of control over you. Albeit, beware of these Pan-African speakers who's only pushing an idea, an agenda of defeat and deception and delusion. And therefore, next time you look up, you find yourself holding them to a pedestal and making yourself feel less significant, to only, and you thinking that they're the second coming of Jesus. Sounds familiar, right? I just said that, I know. But we're taking advice from all the wrong people. Don't tell me that you don't believe in interracial marriage and black people need to stick with black people, and you're not even in a functioning relationship, let alone married. My theme to the day I die is love who loves you. As long as it's not a minor or animal, love who loves you. I don't care if they're German, Polish, Chinese, I don't care who they are. If they love you for who you are and what you can bring to the table and what you can do to improve your life and their life at the same time, and y'all can meet halfway or pushing each other forward instead of pulling one another backwards, go for it. But I'm not going to sit here and subscribe to the whole idea that black people need to stay on their side and white people and Chinese people, Latino people need to stay on theirs. That's regression, not progression. We're segregating ourselves all over again. But y'all pay to go to these seminars, and y'all pay to hear these people talk, and all they're doing is defeating you. They're taking away your will to think. They're taking away your own freedom to make your own decisions. And these people are not even in no position of power, but the position of power that you give them. They're in no physical position of power to even make you believe these things. They're just up there talking. And y'all soak it all in, and y'all absorb it, and y'all digest it, and now it's a part of you. For the life of me, I can't even picture myself doing that to somebody, because everything, that type of language and that type of talking and that type of thinking is very reprehensible. And I could write books all day, but what is the main message that I'm trying to distribute out there, that I want people to pay for? I could have millions and millions of followers, but where am I leading them? It has to be an end game to what these people are pushing out, and you have got to be able to see it. And I'm seeing that it's all a bunch of our own self-segregation, our own self-sabotage, because you're not open enough to go out to this big, gigantic Earth planet that God created, but you're gonna limit yourself to just, I'm a black man. Let me just let me look for me a black woman. I mean, granted, you have the free will to do that, but I'm telling you, don't pass up your queen because she's not the same hue as you. Now, because if I can't even barely trust a lot of people who is the same melanin as mine, because the saying goes, all my skin folk ain't my kinfolk, I have a hard time trusting a grand percentage of them because of the things that they do. And I said it before, I've been in a toxic work environment is no good for nobody, but it's nothing like a toxic work environment that is ran by nothing but black people. Rather if you've been a part of that or not, I much rather that you don't, because your outlook and attitude will be altered. But for me, dealing with that on a number of occasions, growing up in it, working in it than having a job that's a little bit diversified, but the head Negro in charge think he's all big and better than somebody else because he has a position. So he looks down at everybody else and scrunch up his nose and antagonize them. And next thing you know, the turnover is sky high again because he don't know how to act because he's big and black and all that when he really ain't shit. And people call him out on it. Then he wants to walk around with his tail between his legs. Yes, I know it sounds very personal because it is. I mean, personal experience is the best teacher in my eyes, rather than hearing it from somebody else. But I'd much rather go through it and tell you about it, you know. So hopefully you won't have to go through that, or let alone put up with it. But like I said, am I not my brother's killer? You know, we lead in the nation in murders, and it's us. We can't blame nobody else but us. And when you find out why these because there's a lot of there's a lot of teenagers shooting each other, and you wonder why, who are giving them these guns? Older black dudes. Is that the racist white man that y'all think is the problem? The root of all evil is us. We are supplying the tools of our own destruction, and we want to use the whole excuse is, well, we're poor and we're disenfranchised. Well, 80 and 90% of that cause is caused by us. We sit up in here and we, number one, because we love sex so much that we just gotta make babies with every girl that us black men, we gotta make babies with every girl that we meet. And now we make headlines of having 10 kids with 9 different women. I'll never forget the guy from Florida got 22 kids with like 18 women. What sense does that make? He can never support, let alone get to know all those kids at the same time. But he just went around and just had a marathon of just having unprotected sex with all these black women. And nobody makes a bigger fool out of us than us. And we get taught, people like me get called the Uncle Tom because we bringing the bullshit to our own front door when we're the ones that's causing it. And I mean, the truth is not obligated to make you feel good. I keep trying to tell people that. The truth owes no one no obligation of comfort. It's there to set you free. And, you know, Thomas Jefferson said it himself. We will follow the truth no matter wherever it may lead. And here we are, the ugly truth. So it's up to you at this point, because after a while, well, the time is already here. You have zero excuse. You have zero excuse to blame anybody for the reason that you're poor. You have no excuse to blame anybody else why you can't keep or find a job. You have no excuse to blame anybody else about any type of shortcomings that you have. I'm done feeling bad for bad people, and I'm done feeling sorry for sorry people. Like, you get back what you put out. Y'all here in these streets putting out all this negative, evil energy. That negative, evil energy is gonna come back in some shape or form. Like the gentleman, I don't know why I called him that, but this gang-related dude, the 7-year-old that got shot in the car while there was in the McDonald's drive-through of all places. I mean, they found a video of him urinating on a murdered rival gang member's grave. Like, who does that? I mean, it's bad enough you're out here in the streets full of lawlessness and lack of respect for anybody in anyone's life. But then you go back and do that, and then they come back and they murder your daughter Because I honestly do think that the guys who came back and shot up his car 30 times like that in that drive-through, now I think they meant to kill his daughter intentionally. Because if they wanted to murder him, he would have been dead too. But they went and shot that 7-year-old girl, who, unbeknownst to her, her daddy was out here doing dirt. And you women, you black women, yeah, y'all not off the hook. Y'all sit up and y'all lay up with these guys, thinking that they some type of security for y'all, and y'all getting shot and killed too. Like, make this make sense. Like, I don't understand. Like, you sleeping with this guy for protection. He need protection. Y'all need to be using protection in intercourse, because the world doesn't need any more of y'all. But now, I mean, I'm glad I have the friends that I have to put this stuff in perspective, because the earth is cleansing itself. Like, we are unaffected. We can't internalize none of this and none of these events that are taking place. Just let it all pan out. And soon we will have the earth that we need, not want, need. Because these type of people that I'm speaking of, they will no longer exist. And they don't need to exist. And I'm not going to feel bad. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to shed no crocodile or tattoo tear for the deaths of none of these young men. Because they should be out here alive and being uplifting citizens of the community. But nah, they out here shooting each other because one live on the opposite side of the town than the other one. I mean, at this point, let them kill themselves. Let these neighborhoods turn into Mad Max. Let these neighborhoods turn into the Thunderdome. Let them blow up and shoot up themselves until none of them are left. Because I don't live in these neighborhoods, and I can identify with gang activity because I've never been part of it. Because by golly, shoot, if I just wanted a fast death, I eat fast food and drink soda all damn day every day. At least I would die enjoying what I'm doing, because I love eating. But just to think, I'm just sitting here and quietly in the confines and the privacy of my own home, some random ass guys whom I don't know with ski masks on just come and just shoot up my place because they found out where I live. All because of some gang activity. Y'all could use this energy to create something so much far much more greater than yourselves. Y'all just don't understand. But no, put that power into a firearm that you illegally possess. And so most of y'all are felons anyway. Y'all not supposed to even have it in the first place. And shoot up each other. And what's so ironic about the 7-year-old shooting, the guy wants the police to lock them up. The guys who did it. So you mean to sit here and tell me that it was fuck 12 and you down for your set all day, but now that your daughter is murdered in front of you, now you want the same people whom you didn't respect to find the people who murdered your daughter. See how people's minds switch up real quick when disaster strikes? Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody got a plan until they're punched in the face. And a lot of y'all are punching each other in the face. But the sad thing is, y'all never had a plan to begin with. Y'all just so reactive. And y'all moves are so predictable. They got the FBI and the police got y'all tactics and y'all patterns down to a T. They know y'all better than y'all know yourselves. You barely can read and write. That's why y'all stick to texting and autocorrect, because y'all don't know nothing. But yet, y'all got the audacity to create music, if you want to call that music, and perpetuate your lawlessness unto us. But like I said, y'all won't be here too long. It's a saying I used to hear growing up. People like that don't live long. You know, not saying that I want y'all to die, but y'all going to die because y'all going to keep shooting each other and y'all going to keep killing each other because y'all got a point to prove. And y'all don't even know what that point is. Y'all don't know what the point of all the stuff that y'all doing. That's the crazy part about it. Y'all don't even know who you are, let alone what you're doing. And then when we try to give y'all some knowledge, by that time, it's too late. You done disintegrated your brain with all that alcohol and drugs and everything. It's nothing we say to y'all can't register. But you wait till you go to the state penitentiary, then you find the Nation of Islam, then you find all this other stuff. The same stuff y'all found in there, y'all could have found out here for free. But I guess y'all just like being locked up in boxes and put in a position where people have to tell you what to do and when to do it. I think y'all don't want to be free. Don't worry. Maybe when you get recycled, maybe you'll get it right the second. Or maybe it'll be your third or fourth or fifth time. I don't know. But you're going to keep doing it until you get it right. But I wonder who's in charge of that. This is Brother Ausar. Take care of yourself.